Hello everybody, this is TipTopMTG here today with another Magic the Gathering video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over all of the spoilers and leaks from today, that being July 26th. Now, yesterday I said I wasn't doing a spoiler video today because there was only supposed to be one spoiler. Then they released one spoiler after I did my video, and I was like, okay, whatever, that can still be pushed to Monday. But then one of the biggest leaks in a long time, I don't know why, it hasn't been that, Ixalan had like a whole sheet revealed, but that's not the point, happened where on Twitch, this guy was just opening up mystery booster packs on stream. And so with that comes a bunch of leaks. Now, I'm going to be going over the two legitimate cards first, and then I'm going to be going over all of the leaks. So if you don't want to be, spoiled about anything that is in the leaks, I will tell you when I'm about to move into those. So first, let's break down Pure Steel Paladin. This is a white creature, human knight, 2/2, and it says whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. So that's just really good in any equipment deck. And then it has Metalcraft. Equipment you control have 0 as long as you control, or equip 0, as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. So just anything that has an artifact, equipment theme, you're kind of going to want to put this in it, and that is one of the limited themes. I believe it's Boros. Now, this was last reprinted in New Phyrexia, and it's going for about $10, which is just about where we want to see all of our rares. Now, this was before it was announced that it was being on double, it's in Double Masters. Card Kingdom has not updated their prices, or at least has not added the Double Masters variation. So the next card we have is Fatal Push. This one is a 1-cost instant, and it says destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less, and then it has Revolt, so destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less instead if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. This is like an iconic card, and it sees a lot of play. Now that's why it's $3.50 for an uncommon. Now this was again before they announced this being reprinted, so it'll probably drop from that point, but it's an uncommon, so that's not that important. But there's something to note. There is a showcase version. So this is one of the showcase cards that are the commons or uncommons. And honestly, it's kind of funny. This is the guy falling off of the ship. In the last one he was being knocked off, and now he has already been knocked off. Pretty cool. I like the art. This one, since they have not updated their website, I have no price for this yet, but I would expect this to be worth a decent amount. It does see a decent amount of play. Next, we're going to be moving into the leaks, so if you do not want leaks, leave the video now. Alright, so also, normally these are in a really nice order. They're in Wooburg order from common to mythic, but there are over, I believe, 45 spoilers we're going over today. So what I've done is, and they're a little bit more work than normal because they're awful quality, so I had to put a readable quality version with them. So what I've done is they are kind of just in the order they were opened. And then also, if they're common or uncommon, because we really haven't had that many commons or uncommons in this set yet, I have not put their price, or as long as it's not a super expensive one, according to Scryfall. I know Scryfall doesn't have the greatest pricing, but if something was $50 for some reason, it would have popped up there a little bit higher. So the commons and uncommons really aren't worth that much, so I didn't include them, but any rares or mythics they have their price and everything. So why don't we jump right into this? Starting off with Inkwell Leviathan. It is a 9-cost blue artifact creature Leviathan, 7/11 with Island, Walk, and Trample, and then it has Shroud. This obviously is in here because it's an artifact. Unfortunately, it looks like it is still a rare in Double Masters, so it's a 59-cent rare. This is before it got announced. Okay, first off, the whole statement of it was before it got announced, so Card Kingdom hasn't updated their prices. That is most likely true. Card Kingdom may have updated their prices, but they do not have these versions there, so signs point to they have not updated it, but they may have updated the older versions based on reprints, but who knows. So just keep that in mind, that what price you're going to see is probably going to drop even more than the other ones, because at least not in this video, in the past videos, the ones that are already on Card Kingdom and those prices those have already been adjusted downwards. These have not. So in terms of a limited environment, this one's okay. I mean, it's really expensive. If you have a way to cheat it out because it is an artifact, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, pretty cool. Next, we have Unlicensed Disintegration. It's a 3-cost black and red instant, and it says destroy target creature. If you control an artifact, it deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. Makes a lot of sense in an artifact-themed Masters. And yeah, it's a 3-cost instant destroy target creature. It is multicolor, but that's pretty good. Last reprinted in Kaladesh. Next, we have Chatter of the Squirrel. It's a 1-cost sorcery, and it says create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token, and then it has flashback 1 and a green. This was last reprinted in Odyssey, so it's been a very long time since this has been printed, so that's pretty cool to see. Next, we have Hana Ship's Navigator. It's a 3-cost white and blue legendary creature human artificer. 1 white, blue, tap, and return target artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand, and choose a 1/2. So pretty good in an artifact themed set. You're gonna like get things back from the graveyard, but just note this is actually brand new art, which I think will help it, but $4.50, a little low for a rare because it is gonna drop to about $2. So yeah, a little low, but I like the new art. Pretty cool. Next, we have Cascade Bluffs. Now, this is a pretty big one. It's a land, and it says tap, add colorless to your mana pool, and then you can pay blue and red and tap and add blue, 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 red, or red, red. So you add any combination of blue and red. And it is last reprinted in Masters 25, and they're going for about $13. Expect that to drop to around $8. So these are kind of the less premier lands. The other lands were closer to the $20 mark. So these ones are obviously, you don't want them as much, but they are still pretty good to get. Speaking of these lands, we have Fetid Heath. So the fact that there are 2 of them pretty much tells me that the entire cycle is going to be here. Again, it's the same thing, but for white and white black, and actually this one's worth a little bit more. So that's pretty cool. Next, we have Springleaf Drum. This is a 1-cost artifact. Tap an untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color. Just pretty cool card that can be used in a lot of different ways. In this set, it is a nice 1-drop artifact that can boost your artifact count, can die to, do things. It can, I don't know, there's lots of different things you can do with artifacts in this set. And it was last reprinted in Born of the Gods. Next, we have Woodland Champion. It's a 2-cost green creature, Elf Scout 2/2, and it says whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Woodland Champion. And this was last reprinted in Core Set 2020, so this is clearly only in here for limited. One of the green colors must have something to do with tokens, because this didn't need a reprint, so this must fit some theme that I didn't see, but who knows. Generally, you can look at some of the multicolored uncommons to see what the themes of a set are, so keep an eye out for any multicolor uncommons. Next, we have Sphinx of the Guild Pack. It's a 7-cost artifact creature Sphinx, and it says it is all colors, it has flying, and it has hexproof from monocolored. It's also an artifact, which is the main reason it's in the set. Again, I'm not really gonna stress about, why'd they reprint a card that's currently in standard. It's an uncommon, or in some of the cases, it is a common. Those are really mostly there for limited. Yes, it's nice when you open a Masters pack to get a bunch of cards that you didn't just open, a year ago in a standard set. But if it means the draft experience is going to be better, I'm all for it. Next, we have Darksteel Forge. It's a 9-cost artifact, and it says artifacts you control have indestructible, which in a set full of artifacts is probably pretty good, but I actually haven't seen that much artifact destruction. It's probably printed at common, and we haven't seen that many commons. Now, okay, this might be a mythic. I'm 99% sure it's a mythic, but some people say it looks kind of rare, but I think the edges of the, blurry picture are a little bit too dark to be rare. But take it for what you will. It could theoretically be rare. I could see both, but I think it's mythic. It's also only Core Set 2014 was the only time it was mythic. Before that, it was rare. So it has been both. So that doesn't help our investigation here. But at $25, it's probably a mythic, and it'll probably drop down to about $15. So that's right about the price of a pack. So yeah, pretty interesting. Next, we have Hinder. It's a 3-cost blue instant. It says counter target spell. If it's countered this way, put that card on top or bottom of its owner's library instead of that player's graveyard. So it's a little bit better, I would say, probably than something like a cancel, because you, instead of obviously you do have to put it back in their deck, which if they're a deck that likes to tutor things, that's not very good, but the if they're a reanimator deck, it's good not to put it in their graveyard. So it has some interesting applications. There is a lot of stuff within, this set that cares about artifacts going to the graveyard, so this does help there. Next we have Esperozoa. It's a 3-cost blue artifact creature jellyfish 4/3 and with flying, and at the beginning of your upkeep, return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. So this can be used for all sorts of weird combo things, whether it be whenever you cast an artifact, draw a card, and then you have a Mox, or something like a 1-drop artifact, and you just keep playing it to keep drawing cards. Obviously, you can't just keep playing it, but every turn you play it to draw an extra card. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, I could see this being useful, but at its worst, I mean, it's a 4/3 flying for 3, and, it's supposed to be a downside, but it can work as an upside. Now, in a limited environment, it's more likely to be a downside, but that's, it doesn't really, that... Because this is so artifact focused, I could actually see someone doing something with this. Next, we have Iron Bully. It's a 3-cost artifact creature golem with menace. It's also a 1/1, and it says when it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And this was last reprinted in War of the Spark. It's a common. It's an artifact that also cares about +1/+1 counters. So if there's a theme of +1/+1 counters, you can do something cool with that. But that's about it. Next, we have Supernatural Stamina. It's a 1-cost black instant, and until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains. Whenever this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So it's just a nice little save spell. It can also be an ambush. So say they're going to block, they're going to kill your creature. Well, you're not going to get more toughness with this spell, but it will give it more attack, which might be enough to kill it. And then when it dies, it comes back, re-gets an ETB. Lots of cool things you can do with this card. I really like it. Next, we have Hidden Stockpile. So here's a multicolored uncommon. It's white and a black for an enchantment with Revolt. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. And then you can pay 1, sacrifice a creature to scry 1. So, here it could be, it's probably something along the lines of sacrificing. This card is very sacrifice based. So we'll have to, keep an eye out for that. It's kind of interesting to see where they're going with these uncommons, because the reason why uncommons are generally showing you what themes are is because uncommons show up more. And so multicolored cards are hard to fit. Like a mono red card is much easier to fit into your deck than a 2-color card. So they want the 2-color cards to really fit a theme, because then you're only picking it if you are in that theme. So keep that in mind. Next, we have Mearsmith. It's a 2-cost white creature, human artificer 2/1, and it says whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1/+1, put a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token onto the battlefield, or create a 1/1. That's not bad, especially in limited, where games are going to be a little bit slower. Flyers are devastating. Sorry, it's not flying. I don't know why I thought it was flying. Either way, just going wide is devastating. Being able to block your opponent's big creatures with just a little chump blockers that you can keep making is pretty good. So just overall, pretty good. Next, we have Tempered Steel. It's a 3-cost white enchantment. It says artifact creatures you control get +2/+2. So maybe white and black is artifact creatures. Who knows? Either way, it's $1.43. It was last reprinted in Scars of Mirrodin, and yeah, that's a pretty good card for just artifact creature decks. For instance, in Historic on MTG Arena, this card is there, and it was part of a really big aggro deck, so this is a pretty good card if your deck is built around it. Next, we have Might of the Masses. It's a 1-cost green instant, and it says target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. So, just a good boost. Also, it looks like it's common, whereas in M20 it was uncommon. It was also last reprinted Mystery Booster. So yeah, pretty good card if you're going wide, and just generically pretty good. Next, we have Magnifying Glass. It's a 3-cost artifact, tap to add colorless, pay 4 and tap to investigate. Really awesome and limited, because it's a source of card draw. Yes, you are paying 6 mana per card, but you can do that once per turn. You can do that, so that's pretty good. Next, we have Thopter Foundry. It's white or a black, and then a blue for an artifact, and it says pay 1, sacrifice a non-token artifact, create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature target with flying, you gain 1 life. So you're basically turning your artifacts into Thopters. Pretty awesome. Yeah, kind of fits well into lots of different, you care about artifacts, you care about things being sacrificed, you care about life gain, you care about flyers, you care about, all that. Pretty good card. Keep your eye out for it. It can be very devastating later in the game. Next, we have Rush of Knowledge. It's a 5-cost blue sorcery. Draw cards equal to the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control. You'll notice here that it's actually an uncommon income double masters, unlike the common status it had in Commander 2014. Overall, pretty good card. Let's move on. Next, we have Balduvian Rage. It's X and a red for an instant, and it says target attacking creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn, so you're just boosting its power. And at the beginning, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So you'll basically just give this thing a humongous boost. You essentially give something fire breathing for 1 additional mana. It's like it's like if there was a colorless or a spell that costs 1 red that says target creature gains the ability, pay 1 generic mana, gets +1/+0. So basically give the target creature fire breathing, except it doesn't all have to be red mana. And draw a card at the beginning of the next end step. And this is instant speed, which means that your opponents can not be expecting it, be like, haha, I'm gonna kill you on the counter swing, but then you're actually like, nope, you're gonna get killed here. The last reprint is a Mystery Booster foil, which is kind of weird because it's a common, but pretty good card that because of its instant speedness. Next, we have Executioner's Capsule. It's a 1-cost black artifact. You can pay 1 in a black, tap, sacrifice to destroy target non-black creature. Pretty good card for anything artifacty where you can bring back your artifact, which I know one of the 2 color combinations with black and it cares about. So pretty good. I think it's black, white. Actually, I don't know what it is. I saw them just the other day. Maybe I'll do a video about it closer to the end of Double Master spoilers. Next, we have Cathodian. It's a 3-cost artifact construct, and when it dies, add colorless, 3/3. So when it dies, you get your mana back. So if, for instance, if you have a sack outlet that gives you some benefit, like for instance, if they were to reprint an Ashnod's Altar, you could play this, sack it to generate 2 mana, then it creates 3 mana, and now you just kind of ramped for free. Not for free, you used a card, but keep that in mind. It kind of lets you save your mana for a future turn. Next, we have Clear Shot. It's a 3-cost green instant, and target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control, so just a nice fight spell. Next, we have Crusader of Odrick. It's a 3-cost white creature, human soldier, star, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control, so good in a, go wide kind of deck. Next, we have Crushing Vines. It's a 3-cost green instant. Choose 1, destroy target creature with flying, or destroy target artifact. Just a nice, versatile spell. Now, it is possible this is a dead spell in Limited, but it, flyers are going to be kind of big, especially with lots of 1/1 Thopters, and artifacts are going to be really big in this set, obviously. So this will probably always have a target. Next, we have Darksteel Axe. It's a 1-drop artifact equipment with indestructible, and equipped creature gets +2/+0 and equip 2. So just good for the equipment theme. Next, we have Driver of the Dead. It's a 4-cost black creature vampire, 2/3/2, and when it dies, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not bad, but so it's kind of like a reanimator kind of theme here, which would be really good with that one Leviathan we saw at the front. So maybe it's blue-black reanimator. Next, we have Elvish Aberration. It's a 6-cost green creature, elf mutant, 4/5, and you can tap to add green, and you can force cycle it, which means you pay 2, discard it, and you search your library for force, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So just if early on, if you need to get another land, or if you need to color fix, for instance, if you're playing 3-color, this can be used to just be a slightly more expensive Evolving Wild that always has to go get green. Unless you have cool dual lands, which you probably don't in this set. Either way, next we have Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. It's a 2-cost artifact, and when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose a life. You can pay 3, one of it being black, and sacrifice it, and you draw a card and lose a life. So this eventually ends up being paying 5 mana to lose 2 life, draw 2 cards, but it also was an artifact on the battlefield, and an artifact being cast, so if other cards care about that, that's not bad. Next, we have Skin Wig Wing. It's a 4-cost artifact equipment, and it says living equipment, or living weapon. So when it enters the battlefield, put a 0/0 and attach this to it. So equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. So generally what you're going to do is you're going to pay 4 for a 2/2 flyer, but also If it dies, for instance, you can then equip it and give something else flying. The equip cost is pretty expensive, but for limited, it's not that bad. It also looks like it's a common on like Mirrored and Besieged, where it was an uncommon. Next, we have Strength of Arms. It's a 1-cost instant. It says target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control an equipment, put a 1/1 white human soldier creature onto the battlefield. +2/+2 until end of turn for 1 at instant speed is pretty standard. Now, the other part, generally when they do that, they give you some other effect. Creating a 1/1's not bad, so pretty good spell. Next, we have Dalkin Infuser. It's a 4-cost blue creature, Dalkin Wizard 1/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on target artifact. Really good in any deck that cares about charge counters. I know there are a bunch of cards that do that. I believe that's its theme. So keep an eye out for that. If this is a really bad card in certain decks, but a really good card in others. Next, we have Heartless Pillage. It's a 3-cost black sorcery. Target opponent discards 2 cards. If you attacked with a creature this turn, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap. This sacrifices this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. So just create a treasure. Pretty good discard card. It's pretty devastating limited. If, turn 3, you could make them discard 2 of their cards, because cards are very precious in limited. So I would definitely pick this up. Because it says opponent, you can't cause yourself to discard if you are a Reanimator theme, just so you know. Next, we have Weapon Surge. It's a 1-cost red instant, and it says target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn, and then you can overload it for 2. So it becomes a 2-cost. All your creatures get +1/+0 and first strike. Pretty awesome card. Next, we have Ancestral Blades, a 2-cost white artifact equipment, and when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then attach Ancestral Blade to it. So it's kind of like a living weapon. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and equip 1. So just it's good for if you want to swarm with tokens. It's good for if you want artifact, equipment. So it fits many themes. Very awesome for limited. When we were talking about the commons and uncommons, a lot of the time, limited is brought up because again, you're only looking for the value in the rares and mythics, so keep that in mind. Next, we have Argivan Restoration. It's a 4-cost blue sorcery. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield, so this is definitely part of the Reanimator theme. You're just going to take your biggest thing, your Blightsteel Colossus, and just slam it right down on the battlefield, so that'll be pretty awesome. Also, by the way, these are lovely leaks. Not only is there a giant thumb, not only is the picture not showing the name, but also there's, windows telling you the size of the file right over all the text. So, yeah, this was a trick to find. Next, we have Ash Barrens. It's a land, tap to add colorless, or you can basic land cycle it. Really awesome in this kind of set where it can really set up your mana early on. It just acts as any basic land in your hand. I think I would rather have Evolving Wilds, but it also has the option to come in basically untapped if you don't need your colors, so pretty good. Next, we have Maelstrom Nexus. It's a Wooburg enchantment, and it says the first spell you play each turn has Cascade, and it was last reprinted as a Mystery Booster foil. And what that essentially means is that it is $7 for the non-foil version and actually only $3 for the foil version. So this will probably fall closer to the foil version, so it'll be close to about $1, which if this is a mythic, that will be very, very disappointing. It was a mythic before, and this is one where I have no idea. This could be a rare, this could be a mythic. I'm actually leaning towards rare on this one, but we will have to see once this is officially spoiled. Next, we have Gelatinous Genesis. It's XX green sorcery. Put XXX green's ooze creature tokens onto the battlefield. And yeah, $2.50, really low. Actually, sorry, that got downgraded to uncommon, so that's pretty awesome for an uncommon. And it was last in Rise of the Eldrazi, so yeah, pretty cool card, especially at uncommon. Next, we have Volshock Gauntlets. It's a 2-cost artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +4/+2 and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Equip 3. That seems like a really bad deal. You're paying 5 mana to basically. You have to essentially keep moving around your equipment, which I guess could be an interesting idea, but I wish there was it was like equipped to anything, and now you could equip it to your opponent's creature, which will give them a really strong swing, but they won't untap, and it's nice removal. That would have been nicer, but this just seems meh. Next, we have Gleaming Barry. It's a 2-cost artifact creature wall with Defender 0/4, and when it dies, create a treasure. So what's cool about this, it's an artifact. That's also a creature, and if that creature happens to die, you then get a new artifact for, anything that cares about that. Alright guys, those were all the spoilers. I know I went through them fairly quickly, but if I didn't, we'd be here for hours. So, yeah, we're going to break down all of the, borderless cards. So here, nothing really has changed. We still don't know where Stoneforge Mystic exactly falls. But we do have Fatal Push here, so we no longer just have the 5 random cards at the top. So we also know there's going to be Thought Season here, so that'll be somewhere after Fatal Push, and then that means there are either 4 black cards or 4 red cards. So we'll have to find out, and that's the only change to the list, but here is the list in case anyone wants to see. Again, these swords, I explain this every episode, but they have not been confirmed, the 3 in blue, but they are most likely based on their naming convention. And that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about all the cards in the comments down below. Is the limited environment looking fun? Honestly, the number of commons and uncommons today kind of has me concerned. Are they going to spoil all the rares and mythics, and then like the last 3 days are just going to be commons and uncommons? Because I'm going to be honest, they're not that fun to talk about because they're commons and uncommons. Either way, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.